Good morning, I'm Aprila Ghising Lama and these are the headlines of the hour. Samachar being taken to Rupandehi for statement on alleged cooperative fraud case of Supreme Cooperative. Samachar to testify at the District Attorney's Office. Climate Conference COP29 kicks off in Baku, Azerbaijan. Nepal prioritizes compensation for climate-related damages. President Podel to speak in the conference later today. At least 10 suspected cookie insurgents killed in a shootout in Manipur's Jiribam district. Jiribam imposes a curfew. And Nepal to face Kuwait in the qualifiers of ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup. Match to begin at 11:30 a.m. Nepal time. This just in, former Minister of Gandaki Province Deepak Manange has just been arrested. Now moving on, the chair of Rashtriya Swatantra Party, Rabi Lamichhane, who was arrested for investigation into alleged cooperative fraud and organized crimes, will be taken to Rupandehi today. With the permission of the court, Lamichhane is going to be taken to Rupandehi for a statement at the District Attorney's Office regarding the misappropriation of the savings of Supreme Cooperative of Butwal. The Rupandehi District Court on 24th of October granted the arrest of 12 people, including Lamichhane, for organized crime. He was sent to Pokhara for a 2-day statement with the then Vice Chair of Gorkha Media Network, Chabilal Joshi, regarding transfer of funds of Supreme Cooperative of Butwal to Gorkha Media Network. The Parliamentary Inquiry Committee on Cooperatives had determined that the money of Supreme Cooperatives was embezzled in Gorkha Media Network, of which Lamichhane was the managing director at the time. The police had filed a case against 28 people, including the chair of Supreme Cooperative Om Prakash Gurung in District Court Rupandehi. Currently, the chairperson of the cooperative Gurung is in pre-trial detention, while 6 people, including the former secretary of the cooperative, Dipesh Pun, have been released on bail. GB Rai, former chair and patron of the cooperative, along with other people, are absconding. The UN Climate Summit COP29 officially began yesterday in Baku, Azerbaijan. President Ramchandra Podel is leading a high-level Nepali delegation at the conference. President Podel will address a special high-level session to draw world's attention to his agenda later today. The conference will also have a high-level meeting on addressing climate change-related damage and loss in mountainous areas. Nepal is one of the highly affected countries by the climate change. The study done by International Center for Integrated Mountain Development has revealed that the effect of climate change in the Hindu Kush Himalayan region has improved by 3 times. Melting of glacier lakes have increased by 65% in comparison to the decade of 2000s. Nepal will address the issue and aware developed countries to reduce the impact of climate change on the biodiversity. Nepal is preparing to address issues like climate finance, adaptation, mountain technology transfer and capacity development, loss and damage, gender, youth and children empowerment, and minimizing impacts of climate change in the conference. Now, despite numerous complaints of public matters, Parliamentary Committee has focused more on political interest rather than addressing these concerns. The committee are responsible for reviewing government bills, promoting good governance and addressing public complaints. However, they have yet to prioritize or take actions on these important issues.
Important complaints in the Parliamentary Committee, especially in the Constitutional Affairs Committee, remain unaddressed due to political interference and lack of proper screening. Complaints related to the land disputes involving Energy Minister Deepak Khadka and allegations of fake licenses at the Department of Transportation have been ignored for months. Over 60 complaints, including one from the former royal family members and another from the Deputy Speaker Indira Rana, have been filed but not resolved, leaving the committees unable to take action or reach the conclusions.
उपसभामुखको बारेमा आएको छ तपाईले भन्न खोजेको पुलिसहरुको बारेमा आएको होला कुनै आईजी सीआईजी अनुसन्धानमा हेर्ने मान्छेहरुको बारेमा ती बारेमा हामीले सम्बन्धित निकायसँग छलफल गरेर कतिपय कुराहरू मान्छेको गोपनीयतासँग पनि अधिकारको कुराहरू पनि हुन्छ तपाईले इन्डिकेसन गर्न खोजेको अर्को पनि बुझाएको छौं संसदकै महासचिवको उजुरी पनि आएको थियो यहाँ हामीले केही छानबिन पनि गर्यौं त्यसमा अदालत प्रक्रियाहरू पनि रहछन् ती सबै कुरा हेरेर एउटा स्टेजमा गएका छन् अब त्यो कुनै बेला हामीले आवश्यक पर्दाखेरि सबै कुराहरू जनताको सरकारका विषय जनताको बीचमा आउँछन्
The Public Accounts Committee has received 85 complaints, mostly related to corruption, irregularities, and tax evasions. One complaint about NCL dealing was stalled after the government refused to provide a report. Other complaints include issues with land, scams at the Nepal Electricity Authority, and irregularities in the telecoms billing system. The committee has struggled to make progress on these matters.
सबै उजुरीले एकैचोटी छलफलमा लैजान पनि सम्भव पनि हुँदैन त्यसकारण प्राथमिकरण गर्नु परेको हो अब केही उजुरीहरू ओझेलमा परे भन्ने छ जुन विषय त्यो चाहिँ अब समितिले गर्दै जाँदाखेरि अति क्रमशः आउँदै जाने विषय हुन् अब कतिपय अवस्थामा एउटै उजुरी विभिन्न ठाउँमा परेका पनि हुन सक्छन् अब कार्यक्षेत्रको पनि क्षेत्राधिकारको पनि केही प्रश्नहरू हुन सक्छ त्यस्तो अवस्थामा सम्बन्धित निकायमै उजुरीहरू पठाउने भन्ने पनि हुन्छ
There are currently 52 complaints in the Finance Committee. Although a screening committee has been formed to investigate the complaint, the meeting has not yet been held. The Industry Committee has 54 pending complaints, the International has 2, and the Women's Committee has 18. Many of these complaints, particularly those of public importance, are discussed but never acted upon, raising concerns about the committee's legitimacy and efficiency. While committees fail to review bills on time, they also appear to delay to suppress complaints for political gain, calling into question their effectiveness and intentions.
It is time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Yesterday's question: what's your take on the lack of discussions on issues of public concern at the Parliamentary Committee? Your options are A, driven by vested interest, B, influence of power, or C, irresponsibility. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. The parliamentarians have said that the Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority, CIAA, should not be allowed to enter the private sector. The parliamentarians suggest that the Commission is already struggling with the responsibilities it already has, so giving it more authority would be counterproductive. They also suggested that the officials at the Commission should be chosen through fair and open competition. In the discussion of the amendment bill of the CIAA in the state order, the parliamentarians stated that the authority should not be allowed to enter the investigation of the private sector. They stated that corruption could not be controlled due to political interference in the authority. The parliamentarians also suggested to make a legal provision for appointing officials in the commission and to avoid appointing former employees.
र संस्थाको स्वायत्तता निष्पक्षता पारदर्शिता र त्यसको मूल्य पद्धतिलाई प्रतिनिधित्व नगर्ने जुन खालको पद्धति छ त्यो पद्धतिलाई नै हामीले निराकरण गर्न सकेनौं भने यो स्थितिमा कुनै सुधार हुने म देख्दिनँ
59 वर्ष पछाडी चाहिँ हामीले वैज्ञानिक के कारणहरूको खोजी गरेर या तथ्यहरूको नजिक पुगेरै रिटायर लिने भन्ने एउटा प्रोभिजन राखेको होला तर फेरि यतापटि चाहिँ निजामती सेवामा रिटायर हुने हामीले कस्तो वैज्ञानिक विधि अवलम्बन गरेको त्यसैले एउटा त वैज्ञानिक हिसाबले पनि यतापटि चाहिँ कहीं न कहीं लिमिटेसनहरु आउँछन् भनेरै रिटायरको व्यवस्था गरेको होला रिटायर भएर गएपछि संवैधानिक आयोगहरुमा गएर लिड गर्ने कुरा चाहिँ वैज्ञानिक हिसाबले नै राम्रो छैन अर्को कुरा अख्तियारको जिन्दगीभर प्रयोग नगर्ने र नगरेका चाहिँ विज्ञहरुकाबाट छनौट गर्दा मात्र यो निष्पक्ष स्वतन्त्र र ज्यादा स्वायत्त हुन सक्छ भन्ने मेरो बुझाइ छ
The parliamentarians said that all the decisions made by the Council of Ministers cannot be considered as policy, so it should be clarified on this matter as well. Similarly, they suggested that the provision of anonymous complaints should be removed in the bill. They have suggested that after the authority has started the investigation of any subject, it should also keep its limits. The parliamentarians of the CPN Maoist Center have also demanded an answer from the government regarding the decision taken by the council regarding the Nepal Electricity Authority. Now, in our public voice segment, we had asked in several provinces what should be done in order to strengthen the Commission for Investigation of Abuse of Authority to ensure corruption is controlled. Let's have a look at what they said.
अधिकार सम्पन्न बनाउने कुरा र यसलाई विश्वासिलो बनाउने आधार नै मलाई लाग्छ पहिलो शर्त हो।
पावर र पोलिटिक्सबाट चाहिँ फ्री हुनुपर्छ।
कसैले गर्दिन भ्रष्टाचार भनेदेखि अनि त्यसै अख्तियार रोकिहाल्छ नि।
कानुन बलियो हुनु पर्यो। अब जताततै भ्रष्टाचारी छ।
अख्तियारले यदि इमानदारीपूर्वक आफ्नो जिम्मेवारी वहन गर्यो भने
निष्पक्ष रूपमा छानबिन गर्नु पर्यो।
सरकारले कानुन बनाउनु पर्यो। कानुन कसरी बनाउनु पर्छ त्यो सरकारले न्यूनीकरण गरेपछि भ्रष्टाचार न्यूनीकरण हुन्छ।
अख्तियार दुरुपयोग अनुसन्धानको प्रमुख कार्यकारी अधिकृतलाई चाहिँ राजनीतिक नियुक्तिबाट नभई स्वच्छ प्रतिस्पर्धाबाट नियुक्त गरियो भने
कर्मचारी बलियो बन्नुपर्छ।
आफ्ना मान्छे भनेर उनीहरूलाई त्यसै छोड्न भएन। त्यसलाई चाहिँ कारबाहीको दायरामा ल्याउनु पर्यो। कानुन सम्मत तरिकाले लैजानु पर्यो।
सानो तिनोलाई मात्रै अख्तियार लागिरहेछ र ठुलो बडाहरूलाई नेताहरूलाई अब अलिक व्यापारीहरूलाई ठुल्ठुलो व्यापारीहरूलाई चाहिँ अख्तियारले केही काम नगरेको जस्तो लाग्छ।
अख्तियारले कसैको दबाब र प्रलोभनमा नपर्नु र निष्पक्ष भएर काम गर्नु।
निष्पक्ष छानबिन गर्न लागि हर ठाउँबाट चाहिँ पहल गर्नुपर्छ। राजनीतिबाट निष्कलङ्क मान्छे, योग्य मान्छे त्यहाँ नियुक्ति भयो भने
राजनीतिक दलमा आबद्ध रहेको राजनीतिक दलको नियुक्ति जस्तो चाहिँ अख्तियार आएको नियुक्तिहरूलाई चाहिँ बनाउनु हुन्न।
It is time for international news. At least 10 suspected Kuki insurgents were shot dead in an encounter with the security forces in Manipur's Jiribam district. Media said that a Central Reserve Police Force CRPF soldier was injured in the attack by the suspected Kuki militants in the district bordering Assam. The soldier was evacuated to Samachar Medical College in Assam. The encounter began after the suspected Kuki insurgents launched a massive attack from two sides on a police station in Jiribam. There is also a relief camp for internally displaced people next to the police station. The attackers may have looked to target the camp too. The attackers likely came in auto rickshaws. This police station in Jiribam's Borobekra had been targeted several times in recent months. After attacking the police station, the suspected Kuki insurgents spread out towards a small settlement in Jakuredor, Karong, some 400 meters from the police station, and began setting houses on fire, sources said, adding they simultaneously engaged in a gunfight with the security forces. CRPF has sent reinforcements to Jiribam. Kuki civil society groups have announced a shutdown in areas dominated by them over the deaths of who they call village volunteers. Weapons recovered by the security forces after the gunfight include rocket-propelled grenade, RPGs, and AK series assault rifles. Both sides maintain that their village volunteers use single-barreled licensed guns despite hundreds of leaked visuals indicating otherwise. Tension has been high in Jiribam since last week when a fresh round of violence broke out. Now, state leaders met in Riyadh for an Arab and Islamic summit on the situation in Gaza and Lebanon with the aim of unifying visions and positions and following up on the outcomes of a similar joint summit held last year because the conflict in the region expanded. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman said in his opening speech the kingdom renews its call and categorical rejection of the genocide committed by Israel against the brotherly Palestinian people. Late in October, the Saudi foreign minister called for an immediate ceasefire during a global alliance meeting that was held in Riyadh in a push for a two-state solution for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The war in Gaza erupted on 7th of October when Hamas gunmen attacked Israeli communities, killing around 1,200 people and seizing another 253 hostages by Israeli tallies. Israel's military campaign has leveled much of Gaza and killed around 43,500 Palestinians. Likewise, Syrian President Bashar al-Assad said that they are not dealing with the people in the civilized sense, but rather with herds of settlers closer to barbarism than to humanity. Gaza's war has kindled wider conflict in the Middle East, with Israel bombing Lebanon and sending forces into its south to disable Iran-backed Hezbollah, a Hamas ally. Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi said in a summit that the necessary means to achieve security and stability and to remove from a regional system whose essence is conflict and hostility to another based on peace and development is the establishment of an independent Palestinian state on the lines of June 4, 1967, with its capital as East Jerusalem. Now, Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council appointed entrepreneur and former Senate candidate Alex Didier Fils-Aime as Haiti's new Prime Minister yesterday. The council named Didier to replace Prime Minister Gary Connell, who was tapped for the role in May. The shakeup is the latest blow to political stability in the country, which has been racked with worsening violence. Armed gangs have gained control of most of capital Port-au-Prince and expanded to nearby regions, fueling hunger and forcing hundreds of thousands from their homes. After a ceremony in Port-au-Prince, Didier said transparency and good governance will be a priority for his government and pledged that inclusive, transparent and democratic elections will be held in the country. Later, he toasted with officials after adding the country's vital forces must come together to solve Haiti's problems. Now, Israeli President Isaac Herzog congratulated Republican Donald Trump for his victory of the U.S. election, calling him a champion of peace and cooperation. Speaking at a session of the Jewish Federations of North America in Washington, D.C., Herzog also thanked President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris for the solidarity and support for the Israeli people. Let's take a look at what he said.
Dear friends, as President of the State of Israel, I congratulate President-elect Donald Trump, a champion of peace and cooperation and a great friend of Israel. In our conversation just a few days ago, following his election, we spoke of the urgent need to bring our hostages back home. President Trump reiterated his love for Israel. I thanked him for his friendship and wished him every success in leading Israel and the Middle East towards a future of security and prosperity. I take this opportunity to express gratitude and admiration to the 46th President of the United States, my dear friend Joe Biden, for his lifetime of friendship with Israel and devotion to the Jewish people. The President's steadfast support from the very beginning of the war was a moving display of leadership and kinship that Israel will never forget. I look forward to meeting with President Biden tomorrow and thanking him on behalf of the state and people of Israel for standing by us in our most difficult moment. I also thank Vice President Kamala Harris for actively voicing her solidarity with the Israeli people. But for many years now, we have seen the engine behind the modern-day anti-Semitism, the Iranian regime and its allies. The Iranian regime calls for the annihilation of the State of Israel openly and blatantly, and is seeking nuclear weapons.
That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.